everyone, and welcome back to Unedited Chatter with Stephanie and Tisha. You will not see Stephanie here today. She is out on a college visit with her son, and we are so excited for her. But today, I get to be here with Jeff Harry, and I am so excited. We've kind of had a great conversation even before this started. I'm going to give him an introduction really quick, but I want to spend most of our time talking to him because he is full of really cool information. So Jeff Harry combines positive psychology and play to heal workplaces, helps team build psychological safety, and assists individuals in addressing their biggest challenges by embracing a play-oriented approach to work. And I'm so excited about this because he wants to talk about adults too. We know that the time that we work in right now really needs this type of thing. And Jeff has been selected by numerous places and been featured in things like Forbes and New York Times. And he is one of the top 100 influencers. He's worked with Google, Southwest Airline, Adobe, NFL, Amazon, Facebook. I could go on and on. Like, his bio is going to be in the show notes, but I really want to give us the time to really just get down to the nitty gritty. So Jeff, thank you so much for being here.
I'm so excited for this.
I'm so excited too. Okay, first of all, I want you to talk a little bit about, because right before we jumped on, you said that you worked for Head Start, and I want you to tell them what your title was and what you did, because I was like, that is so cool.
Yeah, so actually I was a volunteer for the Head Start program for a small school in Oakland, California. And it actually got me into my whole concept of even speaking, because I went from storytelling to stand-up comedy to community organizing to running team building events for top tech companies to now speaking full time. All came full circle this Monday when I spoke to the leaders of Head Start California at their Manager and Directors Institute. So look what can happen when you just do stuff that you think is fun.
That is so cool. And I like to talk about that because we have people listening right now that, want to do other things. And with the education background and the things that you do, there's so many cool things that you can do to help people. So your title today of this podcast is Positive Psychology Play. And I want to know why that resonates with you and why it's near and dear to your heart.
I love play because I saw the movie Big with Tom Hanks when I was a kid, and then I was like, you can do that for a job. You can play with toys for a living. So then I applied to toy companies in third grade until I got into the toy industry. And then I was so disappointed when I got there, and I was like, oh man, I thought this was going to be joy and play. So I left that. I came to the San Francisco Bay Area. I found a job on Craigslist teaching kids engineering with Lego. It was like a joke of a job. It was like 7 of us, but we grew it into one of the largest Lego inspired STEM organizations in the country. And the way we did it was by playing, right? And then when I started running team building events for all these top tech companies that you think are the best in the world, they didn't even play enough. So when I finally started my own speaking career, I was like, how do I infuse more play into the workplace? Because right now work sucks for a lot of people and they have to be there 2,000 to 2,500 hours a year. So they might as well enjoy some of it. And that's how I got started.
Okay. And if you're not watching and you're only listening, he has on the coolest bow tie that is made out of Legos, right?
Good old Lego.
So cool. So if you are just listening and you want to jump over to the YouTube channel, you can see him. It's a super cool. Did you make that?
I did make it. I made it when I was working for the Lego Inspired STEM organization, and we wore them, I wore them partly to remind myself not to take things so seriously, because we're all wearing costumes. We're all pretending to be more important than we really are. And I was like, this reminds me to be grounded. And frankly, also, it reminds others that I am a nerd and you can talk to me about nerdy things. You want to talk Star Wars all day, Avatar all day, I'm ready.
Love it. Well, and that's why I wish people would start the meetings with, nothing in here is life or death. It's not that serious.
Right.
Because I feel like everything is made to be like a life or death situation.
Yeah.
We have to get it done right now. Everybody's anxiety is so high. You can't sleep when you go to bed at night. I know I get up in the middle of the night and I come write down notes so I don't forget things for the next day. It's not that serious.
It's not that serious. And I remember my friend Sally said that she had just dealt with cancer. And she came back to the office and she was in a meeting and they were like, we got to finish by this deadline. It's really important to get by this deadline. And she's like, I don't think any of you realize what this means, the context, and how present we should be just in the moment rather than being focused about like results all the time.
100%. My mom's had breast cancer. She was diagnosed with MS. It completely changed. We have deaths in our families. It completely changes the way you think about things. And it's not that you just don't care, but you like start reflecting. You're like, that's not really that serious.
Yeah.
Like you all can run around like that but it's not that serious.
Right.
So no, I totally get it. Okay. So if you could give the people listening, the teachers, administrators, parents, and sometimes just random people jump on here and listen to our podcast. What is some advice that you would give just day to day that you tell people to like just, learn to just live in the moment?
Yeah, there was a moment when you went to the playground for the last time and you didn't know that as a person to just play, not counting, now playing with your kids, but like there was that moment, right? So a lot of us haven't played in a while. We have a play atrophy, as the phenomenal Dr. Stuart Brown, the doctor of play, would talk about, the opposite of play is depression, right? So if a lot of us are struggling right now, really a lot of the solutions, heck, the one solutions you saw during COVID, people, how do they cope? They played, they started taking up hobbies, cooking sourdough bread, right? Going bike ride, like taking up all these random hobbies. So a suggestion I would have for people is if you haven't played in a while, my suggestion is to reach out to 3 to 5 of your closest friends and ask them these 2 questions. Ask them, what value do I bring to your life? Like, why are we friends? Like, what do I do for you? Because I think a lot of times we don't even know the gift that we give people. And then the second is, when have you seen me most alive? And another way of asking is, when have you seen me most playful? When have you seen me most creative? When have you seen me most myself? So those 2 questions, what value do I bring to your life? And when have you seen me most alive? And just get the answers back. Just have them reflect back and write this all down. You can even have this over, some wine or ice cream, whatever gets you excited, right? And put it on like a whiteboard or whatever with your friends, and you'll start to see patterns of ways in which you used to play that you might have forgotten. And then you can ask those same 3 to 5 friends, hey, can you help me play more? And then just figure out one way to play. And you really need a play buddy or someone to help you actually do this, or you're just going to end up just doom scrolling on your phone like we usually do, searching as we ironically watch other people play while we're just watching.
Yeah, because my husband and I were actually talking about this the other night. I feel like every relationship is revolved around food. We just meet at a restaurant and eat. And that's not play. But I can think of, 5 things that I could go do with my friends today that would be fun. Okay, so that was for adults. And I think that leaders of schools need to remember that too. Maybe this is something that you do once a month with your teachers. Like, what are we going to go play, once a month together after school one day? And that's going to be our meeting. We don't have to have a meeting. We can go play with each other and do something, go bowling. We can, go to the ice cream shop and then go for a walk or something. Adult play, whatever that might be.
And I think we don't realize our best professors of play are the children.
Oh, yeah.
If you actually sit in their world for just a little bit, and teachers understand this, right? But I think a lot of administrators that are kind of removed forget, right? So simply just being in the classroom and being around these kids, especially the youngest ones, really do show you how to be present and how to just enjoy the moment, which is what we're always looking for at the end of the day.
I agree. And I always tell my students, follow your gut.
Yeah.
When you go interview a principal, you're interviewing them just as much as they're interviewing you.
Yeah.
Do you align with what they think? I mean, because we know that in early childhood that they should be playing. And if you have a principal that doesn't want that happening in the classroom, that doesn't align with your gut and what you know is right.
Yeah. And the other the other suggestion I give people, which is really hard in this society, right, is if you really want to figure out how to play again, you have to get bored, which is so difficult because we have so many devices calling our attention all the time. We get more information in a day than people in the 1800s got in their entire lifetime, right? And it's all telling you not to play. So challenge
Yep.
yourself to actually get bored, to not have your phone on, to not be like looking for other entertainment and allowing yourself to get quiet. All of a sudden your inner child starts to show up and it starts to give you random weird suggestions like, hey, we should start a podcast, right? Or like, let's create some TikTok videos and wear wigs. That's what I do, right? Or whatever the experience is. And you just simply have to listen to that inner child for a little bit, follow that curiosity, right? And then you realize that you're now going to take some risks that make you feel nervous and excited. And you jump in this like pool of fear and you are so worried that, you're going to get judged and whatever it is. But then you realize that what is fear but like false evidence appearing real. And you're like, oh, this is not that bad. Actually, this is very exciting. And you just follow that loop again. Get bored, listen to your inner child, do the nerve-sided idea, take the leap, do it all over again. And eventually you start to find things that bring you joy that you've forgotten about for decades.
And that's, I think, going back to the COVID thing, that's why people couldn't leave their house. It was
Right,
against the law to go hang out
right,
in groups. So
right.
you had to find something to do.
And you could only watch so much Tiger King. You could only watch so much. And then after at some point, you're like, I'm done watching Netflix. Like, there's nothing else for me to watch, right? And then you actually started to do stuff that brought you real joy. The amount of people that bought puzzles during the pandemic is significant, right? Like people who are finding their way.
Right. Great. I love that. I love that. I wish that we could continue to do that. I tell my husband all the time, if I could go like a week and not have a text message, not have a
Yeah.
email, not have a phone. I mean, how awesome was it when we grew up and there was no phone with you?
Yeah. Yeah. Or
It
just think
really,
about how present you are when you travel, right? Because you don't have your responsibilities. You don't have to go grocery shop. You don't have all these chores. And then you, besides maybe taking out your phone to take photos, you're really trying to be as present in the moment because you don't know if you're ever going to be back there again, right?
yeah,
And then
that's true.
to imagine being able to adopt that travel mindset, that play-oriented positive psychology, savoring mindset on a regular basis.
I love that. I think these are great ideas. So as we wrap up, what can you tell teachers in their classroom? I know we always remind them, keep that play at the forefront. That's what children need. But I think this is all the way through high school. We have high school
Yeah.
teachers that could be listening to this. And I think that once you get to third or fourth grade, teachers don't think there should be play anymore. It's not appropriate.
Mm.
Well, it is. So I love what you're saying. So what do teachers need to remember? What do we have to keep at the forefront there?
Yeah. So both of my sisters are teachers.
Okay.
And my father, before he became a cardiologist, was a teacher. And then I had to do it for a little bit myself as well, right? And I think it's tough because, I know how hard teaching can be. And a lot of times it's just like another thing. I got to do another thing. And I think, first of all, I'll say teachers need to be getting paid twice as much as they're getting paid. So let's just be honest about that first and foremost. Okay. But if there's a suggestion that I would give them, we need to find a way to provide them the opportunity to be able to take care of themselves more, to be able to like actually rest more or have that like professional development day or period to actually relax so that or just de-stress so that they can get ready for their next class, right? My sister used to have a ton more prepping hours than she had before, and that allowed her to have some time to like at least be bored for a little bit so she can come up with her like a better professional plan for her class. So somehow the way in which if we could support our teachers or challenge them to ask their staff to just give me some more time. I just need some time to rest, time to plan, time to just be me. That would be significant because right now I feel like there's a lot of like disconnect between administrators and teachers, and really you're in it together trying to support the kids. And I think a lot of times we're forced to like have to people please all these different people when we should be reminding ourselves that we're in it together, so we should be looking out for one.
Yeah. I mean, when I was a principal, one of my favorite things to do was walk around and say, how can I help you? What can I do?
Yes.
You go take
Yeah.
lunch. I'm going to take your lunch duty. I'm going to take your
Yes.
recess duty. I mean, you need those free times.
Huge.
You have to remember what it was like being in the classroom.
Yes, exactly.
And I think that sometimes that's a disconnect and it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
The principal's the person. If the janitor's sick, you're the janitor.
Yep.
If you can't find a substitute, you're the substitute. That's what you signed up for. So
Yep.
It's not just all hard conversations. There's little things that you have to do too. Jeff, this was amazing. I love this. This is just a good reminder, and that's what we need every single day. Really, it's not that serious.
Yeah.
Go find something to do that makes your heart happy, and just play because life is short.
And I will say this, and I mentioned this in my TEDx talk where I talk about hierarchy and play and how if you want to dismantle hierarchy, right, if you want to remove ego so that people can actually connect, play is typically the answer, right? And we can heal a lot of division between us by simply allowing ourselves to play and show each other's play. So, yeah,
I agree with that 100%. Thank you for being here, Jeff.
absolutely. Thanks so much for having me.